welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka agapelovegirl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm back with a new Get the Look tutorial for this really vibrant, beautiful, kind of like tropical or sunset, sunrise kind of a look. I really love the way this turned out. I actually created a similar look, or this pretty much same look, previously, and I posted on my Instagram. I loved the way it turned out, and so many of you guys loved that look too. So many of you guys commented on it. A few people asked for a tutorial, so I did go ahead and post in my Instagram stories a poll asking who would like to see a tutorial with this look, because that day I hadn't obviously filmed a tutorial. I just kind of created it. I'd got my boxycharm box and this palette came in there, and I just decided to sit down and play with it. Love the look. By majority, the answer was yes, that you guys wanted to see a tutorial. I know that there were a few people who had said no, and a couple people actually messaged me and said that the main reason they said no is they're like, no offense to you, it's just because it was a Laura Lee palette. Now I know there is so much drama going on in the beauty community right now, and I won't go into it. I just feel like it's so hard to say it's like in the whole beauty community, because it's like just a few certain people who are constantly in drama. So it's kind of like a little bit frustrating. And part of me doesn't even want to call it drama, because making racist tweets and things like that and saying that's not drama, that's like just not cool. It's just not right. So I totally understand those of you who are like not in support of these brands and these people and these influencers. I totally get that. But like I said, this is a palette that I received in my boxycharm. Laura Lee, she's not really a YouTuber or a brand that I was really interested in anyways, but because it came out in boxycharm, of course I was going to use it. I love my boxycharm. I purchased boxycharm with my own money, so obviously I did purchase this, and I didn't want to just not use it and let it go to waste. And also for those who are kind of like impartial to whether having this supports her or not, and got this box and this palette and wanted to see a tutorial or see how to use this palette, because it does contain some very vibrant, bright shades. I still wanted to put out this tutorial and show you guys how I created this look, because so many of you guys were interested, and I'm sure a lot of those people were people who also got this palette in boxycharm and just wanted to see how it was used. So I decided to go ahead and just film this tutorial for you guys anyways. And with that, I will say though, I'm sure other people might have mentioned this, I don't know, but this palette really, like, honestly reminds me so much of the electric palette, except for it's just more of a mini version, and more of the shades are matte. We do have one that's like a glittery shade here, and then like kind of a pearly, shimmery, metallic one here, but the rest are matte, which is what makes it a little bit more unique compared to the Urban Decay electric palette. But here's the electric palette, and as you can see, like, the shades are pretty much like, you got like the same shades going on in here, except for the Laura Lee palette is smaller. So anyways, I only just say that because if you don't have this Laura Lee palette, or you didn't get in boxycharm and you don't want to support a brand, but you're looking to create a similar look, if you have the Urban Decay electric palette, pull out that one. You could probably create almost an identical look with this, or you know, this would probably be, is this even still for sale anymore? I feel like I don't know if it was discontinued, but for some reason I feel like I've seen it for sale recently. Anyways, you could always pick up that if you don't want to get this one. But I just wanted to put that out there. And I did want to say one more thing before I do get into this tutorial. I'm sorry for such a long intro. I just had some things to say. So what I wanted to talk about was that I don't know if it's just because of all the drama and the stuff that Laura Lee has said, that people are saying negative things about this palette just because of that, or if they really think this palette is just terrible. I've seen so many like negative reviews, negative posts and things like that about this palette, and I'm in a lot of makeup groups, so that's where I've seen it mostly. I've seen a couple things on YouTube as well, but mostly like on Instagram and then makeup groups. People are saying that this palette is just terrible, it's unworkable. They've swatched it and the swatches look like chalk. And what's funny is that prior to earlier today, I hadn't swatched these. I didn't even swatch these when I first got this palette in the mail in my boxycharm. I just instantly put it on my eyes, and It's beautiful. It works well on the eyes. I only had trouble today with the shade Hungover, this purple shade. I didn't have I didn't have trouble originally, so I don't know why, but anyways, but they go on very pigmented. They blend really well. I didn't have any issues like with it. So I found it weird. Because I was like, are people just saying this palette's bad just because they no longer like and support Laura Lee, or is there like a palette inconsistency? Because my palette works really, really good. I think that this works really well on the eyes, and I didn't have any issues today using it, or the previous time I used it, with the exception, like I said, with Hungover, which you guys will see in the video. The second thing I want to say is that, like I said, before that I didn't even swatch mine, so I was like, I wonder how mine swatched. Did mine swatch well? I swatched mine today and I was like, oh my god, they do swatch terribly. I was actually really shocked. I thought, I bet mine will swatch well, or I wonder if mine will swatch well because they work so well on my eyes. I was like, maybe I got a good palette. But I swatched them, it literally looked like chalk on my arm. So, I mean, it really goes to show that you, and I've said this before, swatches don't always tell the full story. You can have shadows that swatch awful, but then perform well in the eyes. And then you can have shadows that swatch perfectly on your arms, but then you use them on your eyes and you're like, they don't work. So you really cannot judge a palette based on like swatches. I know that's might be frustrating, but that's just how it is. And so it makes me wonder, like, if the people who have swatched them, like, are you just swatching them and saying it's a bad palette based on the swatches, or have you actually tried it on your eyes, or is it like I said earlier, that you're just saying it's a bad palette because there's so much drama with Laura Lee right now? I don't really know. All I can say is from my experience, and I'm trying to be very unbiased about everything that's going on, because believe me, I have my opinions, but I'm putting that aside just to make this about the palette and boxycharm and doing this look. I think this is a nice palette. I didn't have any problems with it. I think it performs really well in the eyes, and that's really what matters. But again, there are other options if you don't want, want to support this, and I fully understand that. Anyways, that's it. I'm sorry for the long intro, but I do hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial and enjoy this look. Oh, I do have one more thing to say. Oh my gosh, a crazy long intro. I am wearing lashes today. When I first did this look, I did not wear lashes, but it's pretty much the exact same look. I mean, I did the wing liner. Everything's the exact same from what I remember, how I remember doing it. Except for I only wore mascara. I know there's a lot of people who tend to say, like, I hate when people use false lashes, because I don't wear false lashes and they want to see how it looks without lashes. You definitely don't have to wear false lashes to create a look, or to replicate this look, or feel like it completes a look. I didn't wear lashes when I first did this look, and I loved it. I'll put some pictures on the screen here of that look, or I'll leave a link to my Instagram post, because I have pictures there as well if you want to take a closer look. And all those pictures were without false lashes. I think it looked just as good. So, don't feel like because something's like glam and bold that you have to have false lashes to complete it. You definitely don't. It'll look just fine with just lashes. So I wanted to let you guys know that as well. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into my tutorial. Alright, so as usual, my brows are already done. For those who don't know, I use the same brow products almost all the time. But I use the It Cosmetics Brow Power Powder, and so that's, if you ever wondering what's on my brows, that is what's on my brows, because I always have them done in all my videos. So then I use a brow concealer to clean up from Beauty Junkies, and whatever's left from that I just bring down over the rest of my eyelids. That's basically what I use as my primer. So that's what's going on for anybody curious. So to start off, we're going to go into the shade Issa Party. I don't really get that phrase, the Issa thing. I don't know. Anyways, makes me feel so old. And I'm going to take that on the Smith 232 brush, which is just a big fluffy blending brush. I'm going to be using it very, very lightly, and because I just want to touch that color just to start off. We're going to do a whole like ombre, like faded gradient of a look going on here. So we're going to start with this one. In the pan, this looks super, super green, but it actually blends out like a light yellow. So that's, anyways, that's what we're doing. And I'm gonna start like I did in my last tutorial where I shared that I start kind of in the center of my eyelid and instead of the outer corner. And I'm gonna bring this high up into my crease, starting at the center of my eyelid and just kind of spreading it back and forth. Next, I'm going to be going into the shade Dranks, which is that orange shade. And I'm going to be using the Smith 230 brush, which is just a slightly smaller blending brush. And I'm going to be taking that high up in my crease as well, but just slightly lower than where I placed that kind of lime green yellow shade. Again, starting kind of from the center and blending outwards. I love how pigmented these go on. Alright, really quickly, I'm just going to take the first brush, the Smith 232, just to further blend and kind of like diffuse those colors. With no additional product, I'm just going to be doing some blending really lightly. As you can see, that gradient's coming along nicely. Moving on, I'm going to be going into the shade Bottoms Up. I'm going to be using that with the Morphe M562. Now this is a glittery shade. There is a lot of glittery fallout when you're doing some blending, but what's neat is that if you're kind of patting it on, the glitter will stay. But I know a lot of people probably won't like this type of shade just because it's kind of like a matte shadow with glitter in it, and a lot of people don't prefer that. I don't mind it. I was worried about it at first when I first looked at it and saw it, and I thought, oh gosh, this isn't going to blend out, it's going to look weird, it's going to be hard to use, but it actually works really well. I was pleasantly surprised by it. So what I'm going to do with this shade is just take it on my kind of close to my actual crease now. So we're just going lower and lower with each of these colors. And that's why I chose this smaller, very, very tiny blending brush, just to get a more of a precise application lower than the orange. Kind of blended with, but lower than the orange. Alright, now that I've really blended that into my crease, I'm going to go ahead and bring a little bit onto my lid, mostly focusing it on the center of my lid and a little bit like lighter, fading it out towards the outer corner, because I'm going to put a darker color on my outer corner and then a lighter color on my inner corner. So I really want a little bit of that pink in there in the center. But anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing. Alright, moving on, I'm going to take that same Morphe brush, that small blender I was just using, and go into the shade Hungover, which is kind of like a satiny, metallic-y type kind of a shade. And what I'm going to do is just kind of work that slowly into my outer V, outer crease, kind of probably blend it a little bit into my crease a little bit too, and then onto my lid. But I don't want to bring it in too far because I still want some of that pink showing through. This one does take a little bit to blend just because it's like, I feel like it would work better on its own, but I'm kind of like blending it with a very loose blending brush, and I'm blending it on top of some dry matte shadows. So it like takes a little bit to build up, but it does build up. It would be better with a different brush, but I don't know. I feel like I really don't want to go in too heavy. That's my problem. Like, I don't want to go too heavy with it. I'm getting some fallout here as well. Again, it really depends on the brushes you use that change the way a shadow works. I swear my lighting freaking hates me. Okay, I've had enough with that stinking brush. I feel like I did this before when I did my look originally, and it worked better than it is working today. So I don't know. Anyway, so I'm switching brushes. I'm going in with the pencil brush. This is doing the job a little bit better, so I could actually place it because it's more dense. You want a brush that's more dense. I think the one I was using is also synthetic hair. Yeah, so it's synthetic. This one's natural. So I'm just gonna do this. It's just gonna work a little bit better. Then I'll just have to blend a little bit afterwards. I really just want it right here. Much better. Alright, Alright, next up I'm going to add some glitter to my inner corner and lid with the Pure Cosmetics Quick Pro Glitter in the shade Queenie. Basically I'm going to be applying it as I would like kind of a cut crease. The applicator of this makes it perfect for getting that kind of cut crease look, like an easy cut crease look. The one on this is broken a little bit. Usually it's more of a rounded. This has kind of a hook because it broke a little bit, but it works just the same. I'm just going to use the side that's not broken. Alright, so here's what my eyes are looking like so far. That's pretty much it for my upper lids. I'm going to go ahead and do a winged liner using the Sigma eyeliner pen, and then I'll move on to my lower lash line. Alright, with my winged liner done, I'm going to move on to my lower lash line. I'm going to be going into the shade Drinks and just really sloppily placing that all over my lower lash line. It'll be kind of like the smoky color. We're going to add a few more colors. Now I'm just going to go into the shade Hungover, that purple shade, with the Sigma Smudge E21 brush. Bring that tight to my lower lash line. Alright, lastly I'm going to go into the shade Bottoms Up and just do a little bit more blending. Alright, so this is my look so far, pretty much completed. I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of my face off camera and we'll pop back on. I'll pop back on to show you the completed look. Alright, so here is the look. I did pop a little bit of the Ofra Cosmetics Rodeo Drive highlighter in my inner corner and my brow bone. And I'm going to be using the Pure Cosmetics Bombshell lashes as usual. I just have mine in this cute little lash case. It's like a little Hello Kitty lash case. And I just thought I would share it because it looks so stinking cute. Alright, and this is the completed look. I decided to add a lippy. I did this off camera just because I wasn't sure if it was going to really work out with this look. And I ended up liking the way it looks, so I just kept it. But I'm wearing the Buxom Vava Plump. It's kind of like a liquid lip gloss lipstick, or a shiny liquid lipstick. I don't know. But this is the shade Wine Me. I've worn it before. It's a beautiful shade. I love this. It feels great. It has a nice cooling or tingling sensation on the lips when you first apply, but that goes away. It feels very, very comfortable. It's so pigmented. And I really love the shade. I don't know if it quite goes really well, but I think it looks pretty nice with this look. And lately I've been doing a lot of like makeup looks and just wearing gloss or lip balm, so I thought, you know, it's about time I throw on a lipstick and complete a look fully. So that is it. That's everything for this look and tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes.